Alrighty. Alrighty, good evening, everyone. I'm Sapphire Star, founder of Queens Buy Houses and Property Solutions, and welcome to Passive Real Estate Investing with No Property. I'd like to take some time to share some great information about how you can invest in real estate without the liability, but with the opportunity to make money and increase your returns on your investment. Just want to let everybody know that we will have a open Q&A at the end of the webinar, but please feel free. I encourage you to type any questions you may have in the chat box. My lovely co-host, Shai, one of our affiliate partners, sellworryfreehomes.com, will be moderating the comment section. So she'll make sure if there's any questions or comments, she'll get those to me. And again, like I said, there will be an opportunity at the end, but if it's just like burning in your soul to get it out, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask any questions you may have. And this is something before we get started, I have to go over this disclaimer with you since we are talking about investing. Please carefully consider the investment objectives, risks, costs, and associated expenses before investing. Real estate investments are not guaranteed or insured. Past performance is not a guarantee of future performance. Please ask questions and ask for more information before you consider any investment. It took me a long time to practice that, to say it like the commercial. So now that we have that out the way, let's go and get to the good stuff. One thing I would like for you to think about right now is, how much are you currently earning on your investments? And by investments, I'm talking about like CDs, stocks, savings accounts, IRA, pension plans, and 401ks. Are you earning at least 10% on your investments? Do you even know what you're making on your investments? Most people I talk to have accounts that are barely keeping up with inflation. If this is you, then please pay very close attention to what I'm about to share with you, because you can safely earn $1,000 more on investment funds over the next several years that you're already currently using. By using the same money you're invested in, I'm going to show you how you can have more control over your money and safely make it grow 4 to 5 times your current rate, simply by making sound investments backed by real estate. Most people, and I'm included, we put our money in traditional investments such as savings account, like that's what we're taught. Put your money in a savings account, mutual funds, stocks, and CDs. That money, as you know, is controlled by other people. It's controlled by banks, brokerages, accounting firms, many of whom have shown greater interest in their profits than in yours. If you kept up with the news, you've got to ask yourself the question, do you really trust these companies to protect and manage your money? No, I don't. Stock market investors have learned the hard way that securing your investment is more important than ever. With real estate, you have a solid, tangible asset backing up your investment. You control the investment rather than depending on some board of directors or the whims of the market. Events in recent years, the pandemic, increased inflation, which we all know increased from like 4 to 8% in the past couple of years, which is just craziness, and the lack of integrity of some of the accounting and security industries have shown that it can be very risky to concentrate all of your money in Wall Street hands. Like the old adage says, don't put all your eggs in one basket. But despite these catastrophic events of the past several years, real estate continues to have steady and sometimes accelerated appreciation. It's a tangible asset. You can see it, you can touch it, you can feel it. People still want to own their own home, and everyone needs a place to live. In the midst of the turmoil of recent years, the demand for housing in the country has grown. More people are buying houses more than ever. That's why it's a great time to invest in real estate. As the stock markets have struggled and world events have had a, unanticipated impact, real estate continued to hold its value and to appreciate. It's an investment that provides more safety, predictability, and many of the few remaining tax benefits available to most Americans. We're not talking about high risk real estate loans that got some banks and savings and loans in trouble some years ago. I'm talking about very safe loans backed by single family homes in good neighborhoods. We're talking about investing in the American dream by putting your investment dollars that you work hard for into private mortgage loans. So who are we? Our company is a full service real estate solution company in Georgia, specializing in buying and selling distressed properties. We are affiliated with a group of investors that buy and sell many houses every month. Many times when we buy houses, we work with private lenders, just like you, who provide the financing for many of the houses that we buy. Our mission, when a passion for real estate is combined with talented individuals who have an uncompromising drive to succeed, amazing things will happen. At Queens Buy Houses, it's our goal to not only have a positive effect on ourselves and our family and community, but also to inspire, motivate, and create lasting change in everyone we encounter. We treat our clients and team members with respect at all times. Our motto is and will always be, where there is a will, there is a way, and failure is merely a lack of effort. Our company will dedicate itself to everlasting education and professional growth that will make the leaders of tomorrow. Like I said, I am Sapphire Star, the founder, and here you have my beautiful daughter, Danielle Moody, is one of our managers, and my lovely mom, another manager, and this is the boss, Miss Soraya Kari Daniels, my granddaughter. So what exactly do we do? Every month, we buy houses from people in foreclosure, people that need to sell their houses quickly for any number of reasons. Spouses have moved out and have left other spouses behind to sell the house, death or sickness in the family, job loss, bad experience in the house, out of state owners, you name it. Unfortunately, bad things happen to good people. What we do is we buy these houses from distressed sellers or just distressed sellers, and could be distressed homes as well. And often we have to buy them quickly if they are facing foreclosure or falling behind in payments. We stop these foreclosures from going on the owner's records, purchase the property, renovate the house, and then lease them out or sell them. In this picture here on the left, this is a property that was done by one of our affiliate partners. This house was under foreclosure, and with private lending money, he was able to acquire the property, renovate the property, fix and flip it for a substantial profit. And here's another before and after picture of that same property. As you can tell, a very distressed property. And you can see with private money what an amazing job they did with the rehab and renovating that project to turn a profit. So what exactly is private lending? When we buy these houses, we like to borrow funds from private lenders because we can and need to move money very quickly for expenses such as acquisition, closing costs, and then when we acquire the property, we need money to repair the house, everything from just paint and carpet to extensive renovations to holding costs, monthly mortgage payments, insurance, taxes, utilities, and maintenance. Because we need access to quick cash, we pay at a higher rate to our lenders because we can buy at such a discount that a bit higher interest payment is more than worth it. And this is why we don't borrow from banks. People wonder why we don't borrow from banks or why we don't go to banks to get access to funds to buy houses. I mean, we certainly can do that in some situations, but when our sellers are facing foreclosure or are already behind 5 extra house payments on a vacant, or they've already made 5 extra house payments on a vacant house, they need us to move quickly. Also, when you are in a very competitive market like we've experienced, you need to have quick access to cash to be able to buy houses quickly, or else you'll lose the best deals to other investors. And with access to cash, you can offer the seller a lower amount of all cash as opposed to some cash now and some later. They would take my offer and get the house if I cannot pay cash. So why is private lending so compelling? Again, this is why you're here, to learn how to passively invest in real estate, right? And how to grow your money in real estate with limited amount of work. So it's passive income, minimum time involved. You don't have to deal with tenants, manual labor, renovating properties. You don't have to deal with contractors. And this is a short-term use of your money. And it gives you a sense of security that your money will be coming back to you soon. Now, we do the hard work of finding the collateral. We take the majority of the risk. If the lender must foreclose, which God forbid, we don't want that to happen, but if it does happen, you have a note that is backed by the real estate itself. So you have the opportunity to foreclose on the property, which again gives you more opportunity to make money. You could do multiple loans that can be made at one time. It's easy, it's clean work, it's very simple. You make money while you're sleeping, right? Passive income. Have your money working for you. The profits can be tax-free, and we'll talk more about that later, about investing with retirement funds. And it's profitable with no cap on your earnings. The potential earning is limitless. So do any of you have an old 401k or an IRA? And you can just raise your hand using the raise hand feature here on the app. So we have one person, Kim, has an old 401k. 2 other participants have raised their hands with old 401ks. A third person has raised their hand. I'm included. That's 4 people. We're already at 50% of the participant here who have, an old 401k or IRA sitting around. We can help you earn tax-free retirement income using self-directed IRA accounts that permit you to make high yield loans secured by real estate. You can roll over your old 401k or IRA to a custodian that allows investment in real estate. Most people think that an IRA can only be used to purchase investments like stocks and mutual funds, but that's not true. You can loan money using the funds which are already in your IRA and other retirement plans. If you have an old 401k from an old employer that's just sitting around out there without much attention from you or earning much for that matter, you can use that money to invest in real estate. More and more private lenders are using their IRA funds to invest in real estate. It's called a self-directed IRA, and essentially the same as a traditional IRA that we typically get from our employer, which is a 401k tax-deferred retirement account. But a self-directed IRA, it allows you to purchase a broader range of investing, including real estate. And actually, with a self-directed IRA, you can invest in pretty much anything except insurance and collectibles. If you want to start a vending business, you can use money, or invest in a vending business, I should say. You can use money from a self-directed IRA, for example. There are many self-directed IRA custodian accounts out there, and these are blanket or blank account holders that pretty much code your account, so you're able to lend money back and forth out of the account without you violating any tax codes to trigger a distribution from your retirement account. For example, Advanta IRA, that's a company that we use to do private lending ourselves. They will handle the transfer of accounts for you, and they have all the forms online you'll need to open an account. And another custodian account that's popular out there is the American IRA. If you have one of these types of account, like we mentioned, and you want to roll over into one of a self-directed account, we can help you, or you can check it out online. In the previous slide, there is a hyperlink where you can click and learn more information about how to set up a self-directed IRA account. If you think you'd like to do this, go ahead and check out some of the sites and begin the process of transferring your funds. Hold on just 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Like I was saying, you can begin the process of transferring your funds. This is a tax-free transaction. If you do not take control of the money, there are certain rules. Make sure you check with your CPA. And you see the types of accounts that you can have with these custodians to invest, the different type of accounts, where I'll share with you later the type of retirement accounts that can be self-directed, or just accounts, period. So here we have a list of retirement accounts that can be self-directed. You have your Roth IRA, which is, you pay taxes on the beginning, but when you withdraw it is tax. You grow your money basically tax-free. Traditional IRAs or 401ks, self-employment IRAs. You can even use educational savings account as well as your health savings account. And just think, the profits from this can grow tax-free or tax deferred when you invest with one of these vehicles, these tax shelters. Okay, so I'm gonna walk you through an example to see exactly how all of this works. Let's say you have money to invest. Either it's in a retirement account, or you and your family have some money, or your company has some extra cash that you want to put to work. This process is simple. We find an extremely undervalued property we want to purchase, like we talked about distressed properties. And once you give us the green light, we borrow the funds from you to purchase and renovate the property. At closing, we provide the necessary documents to secure the instrument. The next stage is the property renovation. Once the renovations are complete, and typically these take 3 to 6 months, it just depends on the size of the project, we'll either lease option, sell, or refi the property. When it's time for closing, you'll receive your principal plus 10% interest payment. It's just that simple. The goal is to keep turning that money for you and keep you making substantial profits so you can keep coming back to us, building a long-term mutual beneficial relationship. When the renovation is complete, we either lease option, sell, or refi the property. When we sell or refi the house, and you get your principal and your interest paid back into your account as part of the closing. So here's an example that compares the earnings on a $15,000 loan, where you can earn about 2% interest with the bank, and good luck with that, versus 10% with one of our properties. You literally make as much in less than 3 months at 10% than you do an entire year with that 2% rate. Conversely, you make 5 times as much at 10% than you do at 2%. And here's an example showing the compound of interest, the power of compounding with that same $15,000 loan with the 2% versus 10%. If you were to make an investment that pays off in a year, and then you take that principal and interest and you reinvest it, look at the difference in that return on that initial $15,000 if you were to do it over 6 years. So here on the left side, we have $15,000 at 2%, year 1 through 6. At year 6, you're at $16,892. But look at year 6 on $15,000 at 10%. You're at $26,000, right? A little over $26,000. You know, that is substantial amount of money in the same time period with the same dollar amount. That's the power of compounding. And I'm gonna show it to you again in a graph form. And here you have it, you know, you can see the growth in an investment is quite impressive, right? Almost $10,000 more earned in 6 years. So how is your loan, how is your money secured? Each property we acquire is put through a rigorous evaluation process in order to assess the profitability before the property is ever purchased. Integrity is an essential part of our business, and we only make sound investment decisions. Also, for your protection, you are also provided these documents to secure your investment capital. The first piece of document that you receive is a promissory note. This is your collateral for your investment capital. This note lays out the terms of the loan, basically how long you're willing to loan the money out. And that will state the interest rate that you'll earn on that loan, the length of the loan, and the repayment terms. For loans over $50,000, in addition to the promissory note, you will receive a deed of trust or a mortgage. This is a document that is recorded with the county clerk and recorded to publicly secure your investment against the real property that we are providing as collateral, which essentially is a lien against the property. That means you're the bank, you're in control. Next, we have hazard insurance policy. This is where you as a private lender would be listed as the mortgagee for your protection in case of fire or natural disaster. Now, we do pay for a title search as well as a title policy on the homes, just as we would in a typical transaction. For a rental investment with a long-term note, we always keep a valid hazard insurance policy on the property to protect against casualties. You will be named as a mortgagee and notified if the insurance was not kept current. In the event of any damage to the property, insurance distribution will be used to rebuild or repair the property or used to repay you back the loan. Additional security, we also take pains to never borrow over 80% of what is called the after repair value of the home. Much the same as the bank considering 8% of loan to value a much better risk for them, you should too. And here are investment terms and conditions. When working with private lenders, $10,000 is our minimum standard investment. The majority of our loans are set up on an 8 to 12 month note. However, it depends on the size of the project. Payment schedule, typically we pay one large lump sum at closing on a short-term loan. This is much easier to manage for both of us, especially if we're working out of a retirement account. On a longer note, greater than a year, we will pay monthly payments just like a typical mortgage. And you also have the option to renew your loan as well and reinvest. So what if you need to get your money back quickly? You can pick a term that suits your investment strategy. You're in charge. Remember that is your money, you're in charge. And if the funds are in your IRA, then you'll probably want to invest for the long term because you won't be using those funds until retirement anyway. Or if you're switching from a mutual fund or a CD, maybe you want to invest for 24 to 36 months minimally. It's your money, it's your choice. And of course, we'll come to you with an investment term that suits your requirements. Now, what happens if something unexpected happens and you need to liquidate? You can certainly do so. All we ask is that you give us a few weeks to replace your investment, but you won't be required to take a discount when you cash out like you would with a CD. Note that you really shouldn't make mortgage loans or private loans if you plan to liquidate shortly, but that's always an option that's available. And unlike the banks, there's no prepayment penalty when you withdraw funds early. Hold on just 1 second again. Sorry about that. Now we're gonna get to some examples and show private lending at work. All right, here's an example of what we call a pretty house. Doesn't require much rehab, but minimal rehab. Just basic repairs like paint, maybe carpet. This particular property, 15,000 was borrowed for the repairs as well as the holding costs and selling costs. Now, here's another project of a complete rehab that was done by one of our associates in our groups. And you can see that this was extensive work done, but this was all done with private money. So let's just do a quick breakdown. Here are the numbers in our latest deal. We estimate the after repair value to be 190,000, and we were able to borrow and pay all cash for the purchase price, plus the repairs, holding costs, etc. And I'll break these numbers down a little bit more, but here you have the after repair value, the purchase price subject to the existing financing, amount to seller. This is a foreclosed property, and total amount borrowed was $23,000, $23,650,000. So this is how we, like I talked about before, how we extensively research and evaluate our properties using what is called an easy offer maker. And so this is the breakdown of those numbers in the easy offer maker. We estimate the ARV to be 190 here. And we are using the existing financing, which means that the owner mortgage stays in place. We stop the foreclosure, we pay to reinstate it. Then we make the mortgage payments on the seller's behalf because they were in foreclosure and they were behind. That's essentially what subject to is. And we borrow a total of $23,650 for acquisition, reinstatement. Remember, it's a foreclosure, so you have to reinstate, you have to stop the foreclosure. Costs, repairs, holding costs, and marketing costs to sell. All that's included in the $23,000 that we borrowed. The seller is behind and just wants $2,000 to move out of the house. So just basically help to move to their next abode. The monthly payments for this property that we're taking over is $1,050 per month, and that does include principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. We are willing to pay 3% to an agent who brings a buyer, but note that I did not include that in the cash required up front, the money that we borrow, because we don't have to borrow that because it would be paid out of the proceeds at closing. So we don't have to borrow that from our lender. So when we sell this house in 6 months after repairs, and we pay our lender almost $1,200 on this $23,650 loan, that's a very nice secure return of 10%. And we make a nice profit too. It's a win-win opportunity for both the lender and the borrower. So what's in it for you? It's a safe investment, secured and backed by real estate. It's a high return on your money, 10%. Where you're going to get 10% return on your money in a very short period of time. The average return on the stock market over the past 10 years, about 8 to 9%. And that's on a good, that's a good run, right? We have so much volatility now, it's just really kind of hard to evaluate that. But on average, the S&P index, the Standard & Poor's index, is about 8 to 9%. A predictable income stream because rates fluctuate very little. No management costs that you would have with mutual funds. Those are usually actively managed, not passively managed. So you're paying for that whether you realize it or not. And no daily headaches with managing contractors. Like I said, we take on the responsibility and the liability, and we extend the opportunity for you to grow your money. Here we talked about retirement accounts, but here we have other sources of funding for private lending that our private lenders use. Cash. Cash is held in both types of bank accounts. It can be accessed quickly and can fund your deals in minutes instead of hours or days. And again, your money's sitting in your bank account, not earning any interest at all. You're actually losing value due to inflation of your money just sitting in an account, not earning at least 10%, right? Or at least 8%, right? That's inflation. A home equity line of credit is a very powerful source of funding that many people have and don't even think about. Like, that's unleveraged equity, is dead money, and it's not making any interest. It's just sitting there. Like, in theory, you know, you have that amount of money in the house, but it's not realized, right, until you use it. You can easily tap into that money. It's a way to make sure you're in first position when you're ready to pull the trigger and buy a property. Next, you do personal loans, can be obtained from most banks or credit unions with good credit, with anyone with good credit or a stable income. More and more private money lenders are using their IRA funds to invest in real estate, like we talked about, a self-directed IRA. Securities and investments are a way to put your savings to work and earn more money. However, if your stocks and investments have not performed as you expected, it might be time to consider other investments. As you know, stocks can be liquidated. Sometimes you need to liquidate your investment because you need the money for something you want to purchase, such as real estate. So, how do you get started? If you or someone you know are interested in learning about this passive income opportunity, please consider what your options are from today's presentation. I will be submitting the video recording as well as the slide deck after the webinar for your review and you to have as a resource. If you need info on where to roll over your 401k, I provide the Advanta IRA website here. You can click on here, you can get, there's a plethora of resources and information about self-directed IRAs in this link here. Lastly, you can book a free consultation and we can talk about any questions you have, how much you may want to lend, and for what amount of time, and we can get started. We will need a clear definition of what your goals are, i.e. long-term investment versus short-term investment, and the amount that you are comfortably initially investing. At that point, we will present you with any current opportunities that fit that criteria, or contact you as soon as we have one that fit. Thank you for your time. Feel free to send me an email at queensbuyhouses@gmail.com, and I can forward you our credibility packet in addition to adding you to our exclusive private lending mailing list. You can also visit our website at www.queensbuyhouses.com to get more information. And now I'm going to open up the mics, open up the floor for any questions anyone may have. Questions or comments are definitely welcome. Don't be shy.
Hey, Coach, this is Vivian. Can you elaborate on, I heard you mention holding cost?
Yes.
Can you talk about what that means?
Absolutely, absolutely. So when we acquire a property, from the day we acquire it at closing to the day we sell it, we are holding that property. So the example I gave previously for the foreclosure that we took over subject to, because we left the existing financing in place, that means there's still a mortgage in place that needs to be paid while we're still in possession of that property. So while we're holding the property, in that example, I think it was $1,050. Our holding cost is essentially $1,050 times 6, because we held that property for 6 months while we did the rehab and repair. And so that money has to come out of our expenses when we're doing our numbers.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question. Hello?
Hey.
Hey, this is Kimberly. The question I have is that so why don't you guys just borrow the money from a bank? Like, could you do that?
We can, and in some situations we do, but the reason we don't go into a bank, because like I mentioned earlier, we are dealing with distressed individuals and distressed properties. So if it's a foreclosure, time is of the essence. We don't have a lot of time. And most people know when you do anything through a bank, it requires time, especially when you're underwriting a loan. for real estate. It can take up to from 14 to 30 days. And when you're in a position where you're trying to stop a foreclosure from going on someone's record, like you have to move quickly. And that's why typically a bank doesn't work for us, because we need to be able to access that money readily and have it available for us. And additionally with banks, a lot of times if it's a distressed property, say for instance, there's a wall missing or it doesn't have a HVAC unit, certain things a bank is looking for when they loan a property. If it's not there, they're not going to loan on it. So that is another reason why we have control when we do private lending, because we don't have to wait and see if the bank is going to loan us the money because it's missing something, then we get denied for it. So private lending is more efficient and it's much quicker than going through a bank. A lot less red tape, if I had to sum that question up or that answer up.
So like how long, because I have my old 401k, and I know that my employer is not matching it at all. It's just sitting there. And, I feel some type of way about that, because I'm just like, well, I don't just need you sitting there holding my money like a savings account. Like, well, it's because it's practically gaining nothing. He sent out a letter saying that they were unable to match anything at the moment.
Mhm.
So, how long will you hold? Because I would rather my money be working for me. So how long will you guys hold my money?
It's totally up to you. So that's where you are more in control. And that's why private lending or private mortgage loans are far more favorable than a 401k or an old 401k. Because a 401k, you can't do nothing with that. Even if you wanted to invest, you can't invest in that account anymore. So you have no control over that. Whereas private lending, you have more control over what you invest in, as well as how long your money is going to be working for you. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to a retirement account, you can't touch that money until, I forget what retirement is, 69, 70, I feel like it's 90. But they keep bumping it up every year. It jumps about 10 years. So you can't do anything with that money until you're almost 70 years old. And if it's in an account that's not doing anything, is more favorable to put it into account where you have more control over it. So with the self-directed IRA, it's still essentially in a tax protected shelter where you have control of so instead of your employer deciding what you're investing in the self-directed IRA, you decide what you invest in. And that money gets to grow as long as you choose. And our terms are, like I said, they're typically minimally 6 months, but we can go for as long as you like because you're growing your money tax-free. But if you need to liquidate, you do have that option to be able to liquidate beyond 6 months for that particular loan that you place with us.
Okay, so you said minimally 6 months.
Yes.
Okay.
We can do shorter, but that's something we can talk about in the consultation to kind of see what we have available in terms of projects. And there may be a fit, but mostly 6 months, and we recommend 36 months at least.
This is Amelia. I had a question.
Sure.
How are you able to pay such high returns?
Because we are buying properties 70 cents on the dollar. So with that advantage, that gives us a 30% profit margin to be able to make the amount of money minimally we want to make on that project, but also being able to borrow money at higher interest rates. And so that's how we're able to do that, because our loan to value is 70%.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. So you're taking into account everything before you go into the project.
Absolutely. You make money when you buy. So that's the philosophy that we take into every project. And for our private lenders, and it's totally up to you if you decide to become a private lender, we will give you a breakdown of our numbers and how we evaluate your property. And you may be wondering too, well, what if the house doesn't sell? Because that is a valid concern. And so even if the property didn't sell, we have several exit strategies that we can implement to make the money that we need to pay our lenders back and continue investing. One of those we can do a lease option on the property where we require a down payment from the buyer, and then we take that down payment and pay our lenders back. We can also, and then we have cash flow after that. We can also refi the property. Now that we've added value, we force value to the property. I don't know if any of you heard of the BRRRR method. We can implement the BRRRR method where we, refinance the property and do a cash out refi. That's another way. And we can just, use that property as corporate rentals or short-term or mid-term rentals. But we can use that cash out to pay our lenders back if need be.
Okay, so can you explain a cash out refinance real quick?
Sure. With the cash out refinance, because you think about a regular refinance, right? You go in, you want equity, you want a better interest rate on your property. If interest rates drop, it's an opportunity to decrease the terms of your loan and as well decrease the interest. So that's pretty much the outcome of how much you paid for the extension of the loan. So you save money by refinancing. But a cash out refinance is you actually take the equity out when you refinance. So if you most banks do an 80% loan to value on the property, but if you increase the value, the ARV more than 30%, right, on the property, you can get 20 plus more percent cash out of that property based on how high that property has now appraised for now that you have done the renovation.
Okay,
Sometimes
right
even
on.
100%. If you did your numbers right on the front end. And so you can take that cash out, but it creates a mortgage. So you then create another mortgage on the property. But what the advantage is, you are now in a lower interest loan, because with my private lender is a higher interest loan, right? But with the cash out refinance, I did create a second mortgage. However, I'm in a lower interest loan and I have the opportunity to pay my lender back, but also to cash flow and make cash on cash profit on the property.
Got it.
That was a good question.
Thank you. Good answer.
Any other questions? Well, thank you guys so much for attending Passive Income, How to Invest in Real Estate with No Properties. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us at queensbuyhouses@gmail.com or book a consultation and we can talk one-on-one to get a more customized idea of what you want as a potential lender. Or again, if you know someone who may be interested in this opportunity, please share this with friends, family, colleagues, enemies. That's fine. So thank you guys so much for